Hi.
My name's J.C. McCauley.
I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
Okay, my friends, once again, it's time to get our talk on. This morning, talk with me, your host, J.C. McCauley, along with the champions of talk. This morning, Kasiki is in the house. Oh, yeah. Morning, sir. How are you?
Stan, good morning. And good morning to all our viewers and our listeners, man. It's been a great week so far, and I'm looking forward to next week. And I want to start the morning off, Stan, with a quick blessing for all our viewers and our listeners. I want to recommend a brother named Robert Glasper.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal. And he has a song that I love in particular called Black Superhero.
Black Superhero.
I think that should be the song for your show. I'm not even playing. When you listen to it, you might like it, man. So that's the blessing for today.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to Robert Glasper for some phenomenal music.
Robert Glasper. All right, we need clearances for that kind of stuff, you know.
Absolutely, man. But
it's hard to get that. It's hard to get that. Sync license. You got to get the sync because you can't just play it. Music like that poses a problem in broadcasting.
No, I get that. I get that, but I think that if you listen to it,
mm-hmm.
You may not feel like that about it.
Oh no! It's not a matter of how I feel. It's just a matter of no. I appreciate the song. I'm simply suggesting that I can't.
So you've heard it already?
No, I want to hear it, but I can't even play it. I would play it, but you can't just play other.
No, I understand as your theme song. Yeah. It's a very powerful message.
Yeah. You can't even. I can't even play it to hear it, so that we could share it with people. Back in the old days, you could jump in there and maybe do that a little bit, but not now.
Everything is so legal and so technical.
Yeah, well, once it hits the airwave, it's picked up by the algorithm, and then you get sanctioned. You get a copyright strike.
Oh.
3 of those, and you lose your account. Period.
Wow.
No restoration, no forgiveness.
How many you got now, Stan?
I have a copyright warning. It's the same as a copyright strike, but a little less.
Right.
Because
like 3 of those would be a warning.
No.
2 of those would
you
be
get
a warning.
one warning, and then it turns into a strike.
So the second one is a strike.
No, the warning is a warning, but the strike is a strike. What happened was, on Jonathan's program, one of his guests talked about one of the forbidden subjects. I'm not even going to mention it. But
we don't need that.
Right. And because the guest said that, we got a warning. The next one will be a strike.
If you would have said it, it would have probably been a strike.
No. That it came across the air. There's certain things you can't say. It doesn't matter who says it.
Oh, okay.
The algorithm doesn't care
distinguish.
Who. Right. It's just that it was said. So there's some things
or differentiate.
Right. There's some things you cannot say in social media circles.
Those are 2 different words, Stan.
Differentiate and
what was the other one?
I don't remember. What are the 2 words? Cacique. You can't remember the 2 words you're talking about?
Well, one of them is, there they're different. They differentiate.
Mm-hmm.
And I did forget what the other one was because I'm always
He's
making
being
jokes
deep.
about how people don't know enough words to describe different situations. I was just making a joke.
Right. I understand. No, but the copyright strike is serious because we didn't get it when the woman said it.
It takes a while, right?
Sometimes they go back and forth. Some things are immediate. Other things they start going back in time.
So you can have some stuff in the works right now.
Absolutely.
I think we may have touched on some forbidding subjects.
We're right. You've been right on the edge. I'll let you know when you get there.
No, I don't want to get too close.
Well, I can't read your mind, so I don't know.
Okay, I understand.
When you may say a thing. But they're relaxing up off of some of this stuff because it's very arbitrary. And there's been throttling and limiting, And we're victims of that. I know that for a fact. I mean, because I can go back in time and, you go from 300 and 400 views down to 3. Just like that.
Wow. So let me ask you this, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
So now that you have this warning,
mm-hmm.
how long is that warning in effect?
It's forever.
How about the strike?
Forever.
So it doesn't go away after a certain period?
It does not go away.
Yeah, I don't know about that, Stan. That's very questionable.
It's not questionable. It's not my platform. It's YouTube.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying that I think that practice is questionable itself. How are you going to be punished for something forever? You can't live it down. You can't make up for it. You can't.
No, because
show
there's
good
rules.
conduct. I know. I'm just saying. I'm just questioning the rule. That's all.
Well, and legitimate. It's a legitimate question because the conduct is strike one. That is, so you shouldn't get a second strike. Strike two. All right, you just chill out.
Yeah.
Third strike. How many times do we have to tell you? It's like a verbal warning.
Yeah.
First written warning. Second written warning.
Yeah,
third written warning, and then the sanction.
I'm not buying any of that, Stan, because
and it's progressive.
Right, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm not buying any of that because I'm sure that them shock jocks and those people when they came out, they got plenty of warnings and plenty of strikes.
They got fired.
And they got hired by somebody else,
like Howard Stern with his comment about the
swimmers.
Right.
Yes.
Right. That's what happens when when you feel like you can just do anything without recompense.
He didn't do just that. There's a bunch of stuff on
before
him.
It.
Before and after.
That's my point. So
what are we saying?
At what point does it? At what point do you pull this dude off the air?
I was just making a point.
Mm-hmm.
The point that I started with is it different if you say it or if I say it?
It's no different.
And it absolutely is.
No.
We just talked about Howard Stern.
We're talking about two different platforms. We're talking this is strictly for YouTube. The strikes are a YouTube associated.
Oh, okay.
thing.
I thought it was like the air.
Not conceptually.
What is it? The ACC or what is the governing body for the airwaves?
The FCC.
The FCC. So I thought it was that.
Oh no! Howard Stern wasn't an FCC issue. Howard Stern was a company issue.
Whoever he worked for. Whatever company he worked for, because he worked for several different companies.
Right.
Okay, I understand.
What he said isn't illegal. What he said was offensive.
Right.
It offended the sensibilities.
So he wouldn't last on YouTube a day.
What he said, no. What he said on YouTube, what he said over the air would not be a sanctionable offense on YouTube. YouTube has things that it considers offensive. If you offend YouTube, then you will get a strike. A copyright strike is to use Cacique's music that he created without his permission. He has uploaded his music to the YouTube database that anyone that uses this music is to get an immediate strike. Once that match happens, boom, I get a strike.
So that would be a warning if we play that music today.
No, it would be a cold, straight out strike.
Okay.
The warning was a community standards
Oh, yeah, I read those.
warning.
Okay.
If you violate the community standards,
Yeah.
you get a warning.
And they're pretty specific, too.
Very, very,
Yeah.
very specific.
I read it.
Right. And so then the second time, you get 30 days, no upload, no broadcasting live. You know, they progressively hinder you.
Right.
So,
But if you do the second time, it's like you said, I understand where you're saying that. It's a YouTube rule, and it's almost like you're making a decision to do it. It's not even a mistake anymore.
now there we go. Now,
Even the first one is not a mistake because if you read the policies, you know that. So that's interesting.
that's
But
absolutely right.
That's really good to know, Stan, because, you know, we don't want anything like that to.
No,
you know,
because
to
then
happen.
we'll be done.
Yes,
We'll
we
be
don't
done.
want that.
Right. We don't want that. So instead of saying what the global health impact is, I call it the global health impact. That way, the algorithm doesn't pick it up as me naming something. So you can talk about things, but there's some things that you just can't talk about, which raises a real serious issue around free speech and what you should be able to say, allowed to say, can't say, should not say, who's going to be offended by what you say. And of course, every group, every body, not like somebody, anybody, everybody, but body, organization has its own rules. So if you were the New York Times as an entity, a body, an entity, you'd have rules. And so there are some things that are offensive to you that may not be offensive to somebody else.
Right.
And you are the arbiter of whether or not you put up with it or not. So some things you don't put up with, and you won't.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're the one
I
that
just
makes
want
that
YouTube
decision.
to know, and everybody listening and watching that, you can have all the rules you want, but your rules don't trump the law. And,
Well,
you know,
Well,
that's just the way it is, brother.
YouTube is not. It's a private entity.
Yeah, it's not without its resources either. I understand. all of
Right.
that.
But what I say by private entity, if you establish, okay, you have a chess club, and your chess club has membership, and one of the rules you have is that there's no swearing in the club. That's not a free speech issue. It's your club. You know, the rules may apply outside, but inside the club, those are my rules, and it's a private club.
You might have picked the wrong one, though.
But go on.
I don't know. Free speech covers a lot of ground, man. And it may cover that, too.
Well, you know,
Because some people are genuinely, you know, use profanity as part of their everyday language. I'm one of those people. You know, I'm very careful on the show, but I like to use colorful language to express my viewpoints. You know,
That's the look of. Really? Flowery.
colorful.
Yes.
You know, and I don't have a problem with that because I think there's a place for it. You can use it constructively. You can use it respectfully. You know, it could be used as an exclamation point sometimes. You know?
It makes for a beautiful exclamation point. But some people can get away with it more than others.
Well, you know, you need to have a penchant for that, Stan. You know, you need to learn when it's appropriate and when it's not. You know, that's just the way that, you know, that I express myself. And I think it's I'll take it a step further. And we can even delve into this a little bit. I think it's part of the, what the what the white folks have labeled the, you know, the city, the community. You know what I'm saying? It's part of our language as people who live in the urban, yes,
urban dialect,
centers.
the urban coded language.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. And you hear it more and more now. More people are expressing it, the phrases and stuff like that. So I think that there's a lot of room for that.
So
you may have picked the wrong example, but I'm not sure because I'm not a lawyer. But I don't think you can limit people's speech for like that. You know.
See, the government shall not. See, free speech is an imposing of speech by government limiting. You have a right to control the type of speech that happens in your private spaces, in your home, in a private club. You can set these rules, and if people violate those rules, so for an entity like the New York Times or Facebook, they have a right to set the rules for their platform. Now, these guys have gotten so big that there are many who consider them public utilities. And as such, where does the line starts to get blurred? And a lot of this is starting to come out now with this whole data dump of Twitter, where it is quite clear that the censorship on what people can say and couldn't say and throttling was arbitrary. The rules weren't applied equally. They were only applied to certain people
right
during certain times.
Yes.
And so we were talking about this way back when things like this were starting to happen. And my commentary was, if you can silence, in theory, the most powerful man on earth, the president, then who are the rest of us? It's a power grab of enormous magnitude. So that says that. So if somebody says that the moon is hollow, and we find this to be a huge deceptive thing that's going to destroy the fabric of humanity, you can't say that the moon is hollow, and if you do, we're going to sanction you. You know. So,
well, you know, and the way that they're doing it, Stan, and this is what I'm saying to you, the way that they're getting away with that is that they're using the law. And that's why I always say on the show that we have to revisit all these systems, all of them. And, you know, make them, you know, redo them, make the necessary adjustments, but they have to be revisited. We can't continue. I always talk about taxes, Stan. You know, I always say, if you tax me and my wages, you can't tax me on anything else out here, because then you're taxing me on my wages again. That's money that I earned. Tax me. What you gonna tax me, and that's it. I don't want to pay a gas tax. I don't want to pay taxes on my groceries. I don't want to pay taxes on my clothes. You know, if people want to pay, people who smoke and drink, if they want to pay the extra tax for that, I'm okay with that. But not for the regular stuff. No.
So if I think there should just be one tax.
I agree.
Sales tax.
No, I think it should be. I think we should pay one tax on our wages.
I don't think you should have to pay tax on wages.
Well, how are we gonna pay? Well, how are we gonna build you know, how are we gonna pay for everything else? The infrastructure. That's where the money comes from. We have to pay a tax.
So you think that you should pay? Now, what about people that don't work?
We'll have to figure that out. But there's countries out there that they pay one tax.
They have a VAT tax.
That's it, man. They don't
pay
but
nothing. That's generally on what you buy.
No, they have a tax on their wages. I think they pay like 25% of their wages is taxed, and then they don't pay for nothing else.
Well, that could very well be.
I can't think of what country it is. Is a European country.
That could be, but
like
but like in the United States,
and they do great. By the way, they do excellent.
I'm sure it's a nice small country.
It is, but we can apply things, and that's the other thing that I say, Stan. This movement of consciousness that I keep talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it starts in a small space. Let's say it starts in the north end of Hartford,
mm-hmm.
and then it moves down to the center of Hartford, and then it moves down to the south end of Hartford. Now, this conscious movement, which already has happened, okay? I'll speak about that in a moment. But when you have that conscious movement that's engulfed the city, now we can move it to East Hartford. We can move it to West Hartford, because and before you know it, we're all over the place.
Well,
but I just want the folks out here and standing, I want to remind you,
mm-hmm.
okay, first and foremost, you and Dr. Maya and all the folks that are listening and are watching, thank you for your support. It's greatly appreciated. And I just want to remind you that I, Cacique, started a consciousness movement here on this show asking for Luke Bronin to resign.
Well, he hasn't resigned yet.
But he's not running again. And I'm going to take that as a victory. You could throw all the shade, you could throw all the hate on it you want, Stan McCauley, and anybody else that's out there. But this is the bottom line. Are you listening? I want you to use your listening ear, Stan.
I'm listening.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
He's gone.
Well,
it happened.
Right.
Own it. Be happy about it.
Right.
It's a victory for Cacique, and it's a victory for this community. And don't you forget that.
Right. Now, there are a lot of people who will take credit for his departure. So, I'm
okay with that.
But so you're going to take you willed him out, is what you're saying.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. I asked the community to think about what I presented to them.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously it was something that they accepted because it happened. It has nothing to do with me personally. It has something to do that was given to me, and I passed it forward.
Well, I mean, I called publicly for the resignation of the police chief on the steps of City Hall.
And that, brother, is coming.
Covered by the news.
He's gonna leave before Luke is gone.
I understand that. I understand it. So, but I said if he doesn't leave, then the problem isn't him. It's his boss. And so
he has no shelter.
So I suggested to a member of the city council that then the mayor would be the one that has the issue and not the police chief. So I could, by extension, suggest that I put into play that karma, but I don't.
And I accept that. I accept that because if you put it out there in goodwill and in good faith, then that's what it is, brother.
Right, but I wouldn't take credit for it. I think there are other dynamics involved than the consciousness of the community, because the community consciousness should be getting rid of the poverty, the big things that the community consciousness.
Then we have to put that out there.
Well, then we need to start putting a whole lot of stuff out there.
Okay, then let's put it out there.
We should be putting out that the community should be showing up at Board of Education meetings. The community should be showing up at city council meetings. The community should be showing up at neighborhood revitalization zone meetings. There's so many things.
I don't know about any of that, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I want to thank you for saying those things, because I know you mean well. But once again, Stan, we have to examine exactly what is exactly the purpose of the NRZs.
What
the
is
neighborhood revitalization zone, right? What is the purpose? And then how is that purpose helping our community? And if that's happening, then we will put that out there. But we need to examine how those are helping us. Now, the other thing we need to do, in terms of the Board of Education, I agree that people should be going there. But now, people have to go there and demand that Leslie leaves.
But oh, see,
Okay.
we're up against a break. But that's so say you, Lou. I mean, the community consciousness is not the community consciousness is not put into a funnel that pours into Stan.
We have to.
So the community's consciousness
in anything that we do, Stan, in terms of a community, it has to be because there is something that is going on wrong with the community.
Oh,
you know what
there's
I'm saying?
a whole lot going on wrong in the community.
But we have to address from the top down. We have to remove some of these people because it's going to put some of these other charlatans in place. There's a means to all of this, Stan.
All right, we're going to talk about this when we come back. We're going to learn.
We're going to do some learning today, brother. All right, get your notebook out.
All right, this is going to be a lot of fun.
All right.
All right. Nick LeBron is in the race, you know.
We'll talk about that. I wrote some notes down.
Nick LeBron is an official candidate for mayor in the city of Hartford. Now we have 2. And then there were 2.
Well, there's going to be a lot more. But we'll talk about that
No
when
doubt.
we come back.
All right. No doubt. All right, stick and stay. It's Morning Talk. We'll be right back.
Independent thinkers are Puerto Rican, Mexican, Peruvian, Indian, Bosnian, Italian, Irish, Jamaican, African American, European, straight, gay, Nigerian, transgender, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, short, tall, skinny, rich, poor, happy, sad. Some of us hold a PhD and others a GED. And though we may be Democrats, Republicans, or members of the Working Families Party, we all have escaped the plantation of party politics and become independent thinkers because we as individuals are more than a party. You see, independent thinkers come from all walks of life. And the one thing we all have in common is that we love, live, laugh, and learn in the city of Hartford. We are the constituents, and the government of Hartford belongs to us. My name is J. Stan McCauley. I'm an independent thinker, and I approve this message because it's time to stop towing the party line and vote for a candidate you can trust. You too can escape the plantation of party politics if you have the courage to free your political mind.
Hi, so my name is Nelky Maldonado,
My name is Ramon L. Arroyo.
and we know that Hartford Parent University provides good services and resources to parents in our communities, which are greatly needed because a lot of times our parents, they don't know where to go, how to get information, and being part of this program is essential to them in being successful in their children's education.
And I think that parents should get involved in their kids' education because it's very important. Education is, I always believe, is a success in life. If you got a good education, you can be very successful.
So we encourage our parents to please come join the program, ask lots of questions, and I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed.
Hi,
My name's J.C. McCauley.
I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. We're back. It's Morning Talk with JC McCauley and Kasiki in the house, along with you all out there. Questions, comments, you can drop them in the chat. We should send invitations personalized, like to a party, to every community event.
Okay, so Stan, I'm gonna jump right in, man, and I just want to say that shout out to Dr. Maya. I miss you today, or we miss you today. We miss your wonderful smile and knowledge, and we just want you to know that. So we look forward to seeing you next week.
Absolutely.
And so, Stan, you were talking about Nick LeBron.
Oh yeah, he's in the race. They had an exclusive with Channel 30 yesterday.
Oh.
And so they did he filed his paperwork and a little walk around, a Q&A, and
So Nick's been a councilman for 2 years.
4.
4 years, okay.
4 years.
And now he's running for mayor.
4 years. I think 2. Did he do 2 terms? Because the mayor is 2 terms. He come in on the first. Did he come in with the? I think this is his second year, or second term, along with the mayor.
Which one of these people on the council are not Luke's rubber stamps?
Josh Mitchum.
Yep.
Working families.
Yeah.
Tiana Hercules.
Yeah.
Working families. I think from time to time TJ is on the outs. He's not always aligned with.
You can't even say that, Stan. That's
I
not
said
even
time
true.
to time.
That's not even true.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
You know that he would have been out if the mayor didn't cover him. He owes his political career to Luke Bronin. Stop it. If we're gonna be honest.
No, well, I would say that his refusal to resign, they tried to push him out. They're not trying to cover for him.
They couldn't have did it without Luke's support. If Luke didn't support him, he would have been out.
I would. Well, we could agree to disagree.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But I'm just telling you. I don't think. No. He hasn't been a community guy. I've never heard him speak out against Jason Thody. I never heard him speak out. He was there when what's her face was there when Beth Narvez was there. I never heard him speak out against Beth. Against other things that are going on in the community that need to speak about. Well, can't play party politics now, Stan.
Well, no, you have to play party politics. That's part of the issues that's part of my questions for all of the candidates.
That's over, but they can say whatever they want.
Right. Now, I can't think of any of the
anyone who's
council
got a rubber. So let's talk about the working
spoke
family.
out about stuff.
Right, because they're all Luke's rubber stamps. So let's talk about the working families. What does their leadership look like? Who's the head of that organization?
I can't speak to that.
Yeah.
Working families is kind of odd, but I could speak to the deliverables.
What does that mean?
The product in hand. The product in hand. Miami Vice, one of my favorite quotes. And I find myself saying it more and more, I guess because the election is coming around. You see Miami Vice with Jamie Foxx?
No.
Colin Farrell?
No.
The movie version.
Yeah. What about it?
There's a scene in there where they're trying to set up this undercover deal where they're going to do some fast boats tracking, and paying. You get to take in, a load of, I think it's heroin. To Miami.
In Miami, they only dealt in cocaine. But
or cocaine. Okay. I don't. What do I know about drugs? So anyhow, they're bringing the cocaine in fast boats, right? And so they got to set up the deal, and they setting up the deal with the big guy. And they go to visit the big guy, and they says, well, back and forth about who knows who trusts who, this, that, and the third. They says, well, we're providing a service. He stops. He says, no. I'm not paying for a service. I'm paying for results. If you say you're going to do a thing, then it is the thing that you must do. You have to do the thing. If you don't do the thing, then we're gonna have a problem.
So what happened in terms of the deliverables. You're using that as an
The
example.
deliverable is that the drugs gets to the source.
Yeah,
period. I don't care how
So
you
what
get
is
it
the
there.
deliverable in the
The deliverable that we're talking about is that I have found that when it comes to issues of concern to the organization that I chair, the two most effective individuals have been Josh Mitchum and Tiana Hercules. Deliverable. Are you going to do the thing that you say you're going to do on the occasions and dealing with them? The answer has always been yes. So the leadership and all of the machinations and all of the processing and all that other stuff really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, are you going to deliver? Other than that, they become promises.
So what exactly did they deliver?
You know,
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
well, on the issue of, my hesitation isn't that I don't want to talk about. I just make this about the African American Alliance. The deliverable was to bring forward an opportunity to talk about the police union contract and the necessity of that being a more transparent process.
Okay.
The other members of council stood in the way of that process.
They balked at the
Yes.
the idea.
Right.
Okay.
Because they were more thumbs of the mayor on them, as you say. And so when you bring forth ideas, notions, and concepts from the constituents that you serve, that's all we can ask for. We can't ask for it to happen, but we can ask for you to at least represent and carry that message to the floor, which they did, which they really did.
Okay. Okay, so that's a deliverable.
That's a deliverable for me. See, everyone's deliverable is different. Some people have other deliverables. The union has issues that it wants. The police union wants things. The police officers want things. The things that Jason Thody wants things. What they want is in contrast, stark contrast to what we want. The people in the middle are the mayor and the city council. So they don't always have to deliver. And I understand. So you say, we got to get rid of the party politics. It is party politics. You're not going to get rid of it. It's part of what's there until your full awakening happens and there is no more government. But until then, until we can fly, we got to get in the metal tube and let it take us to a place. We got to use the plane. But when we grow wings, then we'll be able to fly without the plane. But until that time, we got to use some of the systems that are here. And so I understand with the legislative branch of our government, which is the city council, you got to be able to count to 5. If you can't get 5 votes, you don't move anything forward. I do take issue, though, as you aptly note, with the idea or the notion that the city council is rubber stamp. That should not be. I don't understand why they're not holding the mayor accountable as opposed to them. Well, I do understand. They should be holding
Party
the mayor
politics.
accountable.
That's why party politics.
That's not party politics. That's lack of courage.
And I agree.
That's lack of courage, because it could be the other way around, where the mayor can't move anything forward because he can't get anything through council. That's party politics too.
Right.
It ain't the mayor gets his way. Party politics.
Well, Stan, I'm so happy that you raise all these things, man. It's just wonderful, because I think it gives us an opportunity, man, we can talk about other candidates for mayor, but I just want to mention this. I want to remind you and our listeners and viewers that we really haven't talked about the potential candidates for council and any new people. And I think we should talk a little
What are
bit
you
about,
hearing?
Sir?
What are you hearing?
Well,
For
I think
council.
we should go back to the mayor's
All right,
thing
let's
a
go
little
back
bit.
to mayor. Yep.
Let's go back to the mayor, because I'm going to throw a couple names in the hat
All
that
right.
I think would make interesting candidates.
And let's spend a little time with each one. Go first.
The first one is Cynthia Jennings for mayor.
All right. Strengths, weaknesses.
I think that like a lot of black people in Hartford, Cynthia hasn't made a legitimate and honest inquiry into engaging with Spanish-speaking people. And if I had a negative to any, first of all, to any potential black candidate, that would be the thing that all of them, across the board. But then I would say the same thing to the Spanish-speaking community. They also have not made a real honest attempt at engaging with black folk in Hartford. It's like we separate at the political level, because the community level, I think there's more camaraderie because our families are intermingled. I got nieces that, have, the father of their children are young black men and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Some of my nephews have children with young black women. So at the community level, that's not, a real issue. But at the political level, because a lot of the politicians are out of touch with that kind of stuff. So they continue to push the old politics. And that's why they can't move forward, because all of them are out of touch. With all the shootings that we've had, and I've said this on the show before, the mayor doesn't have anybody on his staff that can go into any part of the community and, talk to people, quell whatever's going on. He doesn't have that.
Well, what about Hartford Communities of Care and Peace Builders?
Those are independent organizations. I'm talking about people on his staff. Those are not people on his staff. Those are organizations that are hired by the city, or they receive funds from the city.
Right, but now, I understand the idea of the notion that they should be on staff, but by your own words, shouldn't they be using individuals such as members of the community and supporting solid community organizations that interface and know the community more than any staffer will ever know?
Well, Stan, first of all, I am in agreement with any agreement that's going to benefit the community. So, but here's the thing. I want you, Stan, since you raised the question, and this is for everyone, but I want to start with you, but this question is to everyone. Okay, who on the mayor's staff is from the community? Let's start. Give me some names.
Karen Taylor.
Born, raised, Hartford bred. She works for the
mayor's
part. Office.
Yeah.
Yeah. She works for the mayor's office. I didn't know Karen worked there. So who else?
Staff. I'm not sure about Janice Castle. I don't know her roots in the community, but she is tasked to interface with the community, and
no.
So I just don't know.
I could just tell you no.
Okay.
All right, no. And see, the fact that you name one person and then it took you so long should indicate to you where some of the issue with Luke and his entourage.
Oh, that doesn't have it. I mean, that's a known fact. That's a known fact. But I don't fault the office. Because to me, the office is not Luke Bronin. Luke Bronin occupies the office. And the same tenor and tone, having run for office, that particular office, the same tenor and tone that we put on him has to be placed on everyone else, future and past.
Yeah.
And so I'm not looking to the mayor. I've never looked to the mayor. And I don't think that you are looking to the mayor. I think you might blame him for some things from time to time. But the mayor is not the end all, the be all. And I don't think the mayor has the solutions. I think he can help steer towards solutions, but I believe the community has the solutions. And that it's the community's government. We don't need babysitters and minders. We need people to do their jobs that in turn empower the community. They're tools for the community. And so they're not he's not like some grand master coming down from the big house to make sure everybody's doing right. No. So if all of his staff were engaged in the community, I think it would just give more purpose to their role and being more effective because they care more. Sort of like the chef at the restaurant who cares about his customers relative to just somebody in there cooking food, heating food up instead of taking time in the kitchen. But it's up to the community, and I think that. But yeah, I digress.
Well, Stan, first of all, I want to thank you for your comments.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I could have spoke for you. I mean, I sometimes I almost feel like I know what you're going to say. So let me start by saying this. No one's saying that the mayor is the grand wizard. Nobody's implying that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what's happening. But we talked about this almost every show, and I'm going to repeat this again.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about access. Right? Knowledge is access. Because there's nothing, Stan, that you know that I can't learn.
That's absolutely true.
Right. So we just want to be clear about that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have people like Luke Bronin in place, lying Luke Bronin in place, they deny and limit the access that the community has to resources. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about that he's this and he's that. And I also agree with what you said.
Mm-hmm.
If Luke's staff were more engaged with the community, then they would find purpose in what they do. Instead of looking at the community as we and them, we versus them, which is the mentality that they have. So that would be my comments or my rebuttal to what you said, Stan.
No, I think we're in sync. I think on the same page on that. I don't find anything wrong with that.
So let's go back to some of these.
But we were on Cynthia. So Cynthia, I don't think she's interested in running for mayor.
So
we're
talk
on mayor.
About her strengths, because I talked about. You said what is her weakness?
Okay.
I want to talk about her strength.
No, I didn't say just her weakness. I said strengths and weaknesses.
Right. No, I said, but we talked about her weakness. I like to talk about her strengths. That's what I said.
Oh, that was a weakness.
Yeah. Not engaging with the Spanish-speaking community.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So now,
strength.
I think that, first of all, she's from here. She's been here a lot of years.
Mm-hmm.
She's put in a lot of work. Look at her body of work. Look at what she did with that dump and the health issues that it has had on our community and how valiantly she fought that. Okay? So she is a person, first of all, that without question we can say she cares and she loves her community because of her body of work. She's not somebody that talks about what she's done, right? And then we can't find it.
Oh, okay.
We know about her work in this city. So that is her strength. That covers everything. She's somebody who cares about deeply cares about her community. And we want people for mayor and on the council like that are trying to get into and dismantle and do whatever they can to make life better for the citizens of this community. So yes, Cynthia. Now, who's next?
Are we still talking about mayor?
Yeah.
Well, you had the list.
Well, we talked about Nick LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
I have a problem with Nick, and I'm going to tell you what it is. Nick doesn't know his own name. And when you don't know your own name, I'm not sure if you should be running for anything, brother. Your name is not Nick LeBron. Your name is, whatever your first name is, LeBron. And that's how you should be introducing yourself. Otherwise, brother, you just another brother under a spell. Let's move on to the next one, Stan.
All right.
And that would be his weakness. I don't know what his strengths are. Because I don't know what he's done in council besides be a rubber stamp for Luke. And I say that respectfully, brother. If you have any issues with what I say, please call me and correct me. And that goes for anybody that I speak on this show. Okay? You can call the show. We can talk about it on the air. You can call me in private. I'm always willing to have an intelligent conversation with anyone because I'm all about my personal growth. Thank you.
Hey man, I like that. You can't make it more direct than that. Okay, so counselor, are we done with mayor?
No. Give me another one.
Well,
we talked about Eric.
Right.
I think that Eric, I think he might have missed his
window.
He might have missed his window to run for mayor in Hartford because we spoke about that. You know, he's never really been a Hartford guy. He had like 2 blocks of Hartford when he, as a representative from Bloomfield. I think the only people he know in Hartford is me and you. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
He knows more than
I know that, but he's not a Hartford guy. I don't know. I think he's being a little presumptuous, but that's just me. And I think that would be his weakness. I think his strengths. But the issue for me is what has he done with it? But he has knowledge of the political system, and he probably has a political machine. We know he's going to have the backing of the party. He's the elder statesman for the black community in this part of Connecticut, right? But that doesn't make you.
I want to be clear about
he
that. He has the backing of the party.
Well. He's the elder statesman. He's the oldest and most experienced politician, right? So, but I'm not sure if all of that qualifies because all the years he was a state rep, he was a senator, what did he do to improve the lives of Hartford residents? That would be my question for him. So that would be, it's a good thing and a questionable thing that he has knowledge of the political process. Because we're not sure what he did with that knowledge in the past. And as a judge also. As a judge. Because I always question, why haven't we done studies on all the judges to see how they how they judge people? What are the percentages of black and white? Are there some, you know what I'm saying? Some things that we should be looking at. Yes, we should be doing that today, yesterday. You know what I'm saying? We need to look at their track record and see if there's a way that they're doing things that makes us question what's going on.
Dr. Maya said, could we do a list of notable, because you mentioned that. Dr. Maya said, could we do a list of notable highlights and notable fumbles regarding Hartford's politicians, past and present, which speaks to what you were just saying.
Well, we're going to need some help from the community from that. Y'all need to get on the phone or get on whatever device you have and send us some of those gaffes that these folks have committed.
Okay, now what about I've heard in the ether a Minnie. Nothing solid. I've nothing solid, but her name has come up in several circles that I have had
Minnie Gonzalez
conversation in. She would be like Eric.
Well,
in terms of, I mean, only in terms of history with how the machine works, the party works, and
absolutely,
an elder statesperson.
Absolutely, and she's in the same boat as Eric. Right, done a terrible job of engaging with the black community. Okay, and she has political experience. She has a very strong political machine. But what have you done with that political experience to help the community? There's people that question how her and her husband have come to some of the things that they've come to. So there's some questions about Minnie. I think Minnie should stay home, and she should be doing what I recommended to her and all the politicians 30 years ago. Who are you preparing to take your place so we can continue to build? And if you don't have anybody, then that's your legacy.
Mm. That's
Who's next?
Now that there's a powerful statement. If you don't have anybody, that is your legacy. That's powerful.
That's what it is, brother.
That's powerful. You have no legacy.
Let's move on to the next one, man.
Okay, so what are we ready for council now?
No, let's move on. Let's go to another mayor.
Another mayor? I don't know. I thought we did mayors last week. So what?
I'm gonna tell you who I think would be a good mayor for Hartford.
Who?
Ed Vargas.
Eddie.
Ed Vargas has political experience.
Mm-hmm.
Does really well with the white folk. Does really well with the black folk, because Eddie will go anywhere and have a conversation with anybody, and is respected in the Spanish-speaking community. So he's somebody that we should look at. He's also an elder statesman, and he has a good track record of supporting our black and brown issues up at the state capitol.
And exceedingly familiar with all the processes of union.
Absolutely. So he's somebody that can be extremely beneficial on a lot of ends. And let me say this to the party, because I know all you morons are listening. All right? Take a look at Ed Vargas. He's somebody that could benefit this city. And he has put a lot of work in. He's put 35 years in, him and his wife, as teachers in Hartford. So they have some really, really strong roots here. And they're very nice people.
All right.
So let's move on to council.
All right, well, we'll do that as soon as we get back from the break. Morning Talk, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hi,
My name's J.C. McCauley.
I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
All right. Always interesting off-air conversation. Unfortunately, you all don't get a chance to participate in that, but it's always good stuff. Welcome back. It's More Than Talk. I'm your host, J.C. McCauley, and along with me we have Cacique. He is our community analyst.
Well, Stan, give me some names for council, man.
Well, let's start off with the current council. We'll do a lightning round.
All right.
Do lightning round of yes, no. All right.
Well, you know what, Stan?
Because we did these
Time is our most important resource.
right. So we have
So we don't want to waste our time with anybody
right,
else.
right. That's why I'm doing yes, no.
Let's just go no all across the board.
Oh, okay, no.
And let's just talk why.
All right.
Start with the first one. Give me a name.
TJ.
I think that TJ's done.
We don't need actually. I mean, but the no's are a no. So I mean,
But I'm gonna tell you why.
okay.
He's one of Luke's. He's under Luke's protection. All these people, when Luke is gone, they're not gonna have his protection.
So what about Josh? You said no all the way across
Josh
the board.
Misham needs to address. I appreciate everything he's done for Hartford first and foremost, because I'm not an ungrateful person. So whatever you, Josh, have done on behalf of the citizens of Hartford, I'm grateful for. But what you need to do is address your party's leadership. Okay? Fix your own house before you think you can come and fix ours.
Okay, I guess
That would be
that's-
my message for Josh.
All right.
I want to see some black and brown people at the head of your organization. Y'all going to stop picking candidates. You're doing the same thing to mother party. You think you can pick our candidates from the top, but we know who's at the top,
Yeah,
right,
but see,
Josh?
I don't think that's Josh though. What about Tiana?
It's the same thing, brother. They getting picked from the top all over the state. It's not just in Hartford. You know, this is a party that picks black and brown candidates.
Yeah, but
It's white people at the top, and they decide who's going to be on there.
all right, I wouldn't hold them the ones.
But they need to address that.
But you know,
Yes.
to what degree will that satisfy you that they've addressed this? It's not like the working families is the only one that they're all of the parties.
Right.
That's a problem with all of the parties. And to me,
So what
because
does
I'm
that
not
mean?
a party guy, first of all.
Yeah.
So but I understand how the party works. It's the party.
Right.
You know, if you want to change the party, then I think people need to get involved with the party, work their way up through the ranks, and then make those changes. But I'm not a member of the party. I guess I could dictate what I would like to see them do, but they don't owe me anything. And I don't want them to owe me anything. I'm very outspoken as a party guy. In fact, a couple weeks
How
ago,
many years did you vote for the party?
did I vote for the party?
Yeah, for a party.
I don't vote for the party. I vote for the candidate.
Right, but how many years did you vote for a Democrat?
I vote Republican and Democrat and
Okay.
Independent.
Okay, good. So you are a party guy. You have voted for parties.
The people running our party
Right,
people.
that's
So
what I'm saying.
but I don't vote for the party.
Okay.
The last time I ran. I'm a member. I started off as an independent. Then I registered as a Republican. Then I left the Republican Party for a short time and joined the Working Families Party. Then I left the Working Families Party and became a Democrat. I'm currently a Democrat. But the last time I ran for mayor, I ran as being cross-endorsed by the Republicans. So as Brandon McGee aptly stated on the program last week, or 2 weeks ago, whenever, he talked about Stan McCauley. He said, but is he going to be a Republican? Is he going to be a Democrat? Who knows with Stan? You don't know, because I'm not a party guy. I have mild disdain for the party. They know that. But the party has a right to exist. I respect, well, I conceptually, I respect the party.
Choose your words carefully, Stan.
Well, I can't say that I
Because
respect.
this is being recorded.
I can't say that I respect the party because clearly I don't. Otherwise, I would behave differently toward them. That's why I changed that. So I conceptually understand and respect what they are and their right to exist. But that's not on the party.
That
That's
doesn't
on the
prevent you from disagreeing with their
constituents.
policies and whatever.
I don't agree with their policies at all.
Right.
But the constituents are the ones that allow the party to hijack their government. That's not the party's fault. There's a whole lot more constituents than there are party officials.
Yeah.
And so it's up to the constituent to say, hey, this is what we want. This is what we will tolerate and won't tolerate. They should be in full control of the party. But they're not. That's a constituent issue.
Well, Stan, first of all, I want you to know that I appreciate your comments.
Right. And that's just my opinion. It's not right.
However, Stan, just for the record, you are a party guy.
I'm not a party guy.
And you don't get to slip out like that.
I'm not a party guy.
Because the moment you vote for somebody who is representing a party, then you also are a representative of that party and all of its ideals.
No.
Because you're voting, Stan.
No.
Yes.
I take issue with that. It would be
could.
different if
you could.
In the primary,
yes,
that is so. But in the general election, you are voting for the party's candidate.
In everything that the party represents.
So I would suggest that Eddie Perez did things that pissed the party off.
Like what?
You
speak on it, brother. You raised it.
He put out the bid some of the toilet paper money. Right. There's some things that are sacred cows.
Right. That belonged to somebody.
Right.
And he touched it.
It
didn't belong to him.
He touched some of the sacred cows, right?
He didn't learn the golden rule at home. You don't touch what don't belong to you. We all learned that at home.
Right. So that's
akin to stealing.
I want to talk to him. And he need to understand that is not right.
Oh my God. That's how it happened, Stan. It was some mafia.
You
got a little Miami
I don't know. So I'm just simply suggesting that he pushed back. So that's to say that the elected official many times would like to go a different direction. Some of them are brave enough to step outside that and go forward. So they are themselves unique individuals, but in order to get in and do anything, there's only a couple mechanisms. Now, you could run as an independent, but the likelihood of getting elected as an independent are very, very slim. You had Governor Lowell Weicker. That doesn't happen often, though. It doesn't happen often. And I think Mayor Mike might have been more of an independent, but he was a Democrat and got cross-endorsed by the Republicans and the whole, the House of Sullivan.
He was the great white hope.
After Kerry.
It was like they took the city back from those what.
Well, be that as it may, this is the political struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the political struggle, there's and this is a good avenue to take a little off ramp on Minnie and Cynthia. I don't see anything inherently wrong necessary for supporting a particular group in which you are associated with. Not that you're enemies, but there are unique nuances to the particular group. So I don't fault Minnie for advocating for the people she represents. And you can't represent one group while going over here and pulling them in unless there's an alliance or a coalition for a common cause. And while I agree with you, they both could work better across, but there are separate interests. And so I think that that's a strength that needs to be built on and expanded, not necessarily a negative. Because
if it hasn't happened in all these years, Stan, it's a negative.
All right.
We're not going to cover nobody here, Stan.
And we're not trying to cover.
About that,
I'm not trying to cover nobody. But go on now.
So now that that you finished completely and totally confusing me with this foolishness about you not being a party guy, what are we talking about next?
Well, I wanted to hear new people new
Well, you
people.
know,
But
I
I'm
have
not a
somebody in
party
mind.
guy, though. I keep pushing back on that because I don't know what's confusing about that. I don't take marching orders from the party. I don't listen to the party. I don't invest in the party. I don't.
You can't listen, Stan. Listen to me.
Do you vote?
No, I stopped voting.
All right, so I mean, to some degree, the conversation would be fruitless if you don't believe in the process.
Absolutely not. I think it's completely backwards. It's once again, let me familiarize the community with this word. Spell. Think about that.
We're under a strong delusion.
Why would you vote for something that you have empirical knowledge that is contrary to your existence, but you still revel in it? I'm completely, I'm out of bounds. I'm out of my sphere. I have nothing. You know that is completely designed and has been used to your detriment, but you swear by it. You support it, and then you conveniently try to slip out of the... No, it doesn't work like that.
Well, this is very interesting. So, so you would advocate for people not to vote. Or no, I shouldn't say that.
I would
you
advocate...
won't vote, but it's not to say that you're saying others should not vote.
I would advocate that we look at the political process in this country, and I would use how you always say all politics is local. I would start at the local level and see how all the political parties, how are they benefiting the community, how are they hurting the community, and make those adjustments at the local level, and hopefully expand it to the state level with the idea of moving it to the federal level.
Well, if that
would be my answer to your question about whether I encourage other people to vote or not.
All right. So, all right. You're not the only one. I mean, there are just other people that don't vote.
I have been a pioneer my whole life. I have taken risks and have been victorious in everything that I've done. I am the most successful man that I know, given my circumstances and everything that's happened in my life. So I stand by what I say. We need to examine all of them, and we'll see this. There's some uses in some of these systems. There are things that we can remove and place in the new things, but all this prejudicial, racist, discriminatory, unjust, all of that stuff.
Well, that stuff needs to go.
Exactly,
But
and that's what I'm talking about.
That's a system that's corruption within a particular system destroys the system, and those are corruptive forces that need to be removed. But I don't necessarily think that means that it's inherent that we'll be right back.
How do you define evil? Is it the pedophile school administrator or taxation without representation? Is it the gatekeeping community leaders who sell out the very people they are fighting for? Or is evil the politician that puts out lies and takes in cash? However you may classify evil, having to choose the lesser of two evils still leaves you with evil. No wonder so many people don't vote. It's time for constituents to flip the script and leave the plantation of party politics and free your political mind.
Hi,
My name's J.C. McCauley.
I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back.
All right, Stan, let's jump right in, man. Let's talk about let's talk about the council members, man.
Council members, okay.
Yeah.
So what do you need to do? First of all, what does council do? I mean, like, they're the legislative branch. They make the rules. To me, they're the oversight branch on the executive branch. A lot of people, I think, want to be want to be council members. I don't even know if they know what the council does. I mean, what is going?
Let me just add this to your comment, Stan.
Mm-hmm.
And I say this respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if our present council members know what their function is.
Mm.
I'll put that out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, Stan, what is the function of the council? Is that they pass the laws for the city, which are called
Your resolutions.
Statutes. They don't pass statutes. That's at the
State.
That's the state level. There's another word that I'm looking for. And it's not resolution. It's not a mandate. It'll come to me. But they pass the laws for the city, the rules and the regulations. They deal with the contracts for all the city unions. They select the police chief, the fire chief.
They confirm.
They confirm, right.
Right.
But they kind of select them because it usually comes from them. And I think the community should have a little bit more to do with both of those folks, whoever they may be.
Yeah, but they don't select him. The mayor selects him.
Right. But, right, yes.
And the mayor selects, then they confirm. But
Right.
the mayor can pick whoever he wants. So that's up to the constituents to make sure that when they elect the next mayor, the part of that mayor's ironclad guarantee to the constituent is that they will have an opportunity to have a very, very loud voice in terms of who gets selected to be police chief.
Oh, when did that happen, Stan?
I'm saying it needs to happen
Oh, I was going to say.
with the next mayor.
I didn't, because that never happened here.
Well, you have a semblance of it because they do the dog and pony.
Yeah.
They take the candidate around and somehow that's your input. That's not input.
I just want to know what member of this community picked Jason Thody. I just want to know.
The mayor. The mayor picked him.
Stan, you didn't
He's
hear
a
my
member
question?
of the community. The mayor's a member of the community.
Since when?
Since he moved here.
That guy never been a member of our community, Stan. He's an outsider, man. He's a invader. We got invaded by a little white man.
All right. Ordinances, Lou. Ordinance. Dr. Maya Bowen. Ordinances.
Yes.
What you're looking for.
That's the word, yes.
Right, the ordinances.
They pass ordinances, yes.
Yeah. So they pass ordinances through the resolution process, and
Yes.
those become the laws of the city of the municipality. Their job is not to manage the day-to-day functions of the city. I think sometimes people think that they do, and it's not really necessarily appropriate for them to weigh in on everything.
Absolutely, yes. I
And,
agree
and
with
generally, that office doesn't unless it has political aspirations. You can usually tell when a city councilor has political aspirations because they start weighing in on things. That's when you kind of get a sense that, something's going on. Particularly when they're critical of the mayor.
Well, that's a very interesting point, Stan.
And you don't see that happen here.
I want you to tell me, besides Josh and Tatiana, what council member has taken the initiative to speak out against something?
Mm-mm.
And see, this is why I said it when we started talking about the council. none of these people really qualify to be council members. We don't need rubber stamps. We need team players, and there's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to put that out there. There's a difference between people who come in and rubber stamp the mayor and people who come in and play as a team. Because people who play as a team, well, first of all, people who rubber stamp are going to do everything the mayor says, and he can do no wrong. They're not going to entertain questions about why the mayor's doing this and that. He just won't do it. Mm-hmm. And if they answer them, it's going to be always positive for the mayor. Team players are people who are going to come in and support you and assist you with your plan and your ideas as long as they are beneficial to whoever the plan and ideas are being made for. And when your plan and your ideas, Mr. Mayor, whoever or Mrs. Mayor, whoever the mayor is, when those do not coincide with the interests of the community, then these team players will hold you accountable and make you do the right thing. So there's a difference. So we need team players, not people who are going to rubber stamp, everything that these people do.
The party politics of coming in with the mayor makes it very challenging for a lot of people, because as city council, I had suggested that they separate the council vote from the mayoral vote, stagger the years.
That's a lot of elections, brother.
There's an election every year anyway.
Yeah.
But the mayor would come in, like you have a hybrid council. You have 4 members on council that serve the city at large, and the other 5 serve the city. Well, you would expand the council so that you have council representation by district,
mm-hmm.
and then you have 4 members, one council representative for each district, and then you have 4 members represent at large. The district council people would be elected every 2 years, and the 4 would be elected
every 4 years.
Every 4 years.
So at large.
At large with the mayor. That way your bench, you could build a bench. The 2-year people would want to run for the 4-year term. Then the 4-year term people would be set up to become perhaps run for mayor. And the political process, you gain
term limits.
Can
we talk about term limits real quick?
You could have term limits, but the whole purpose of that was to prevent people from coming in on the mayor's coattails. Because if you have to run the election yourself,
you can still come in on his coattails.
Not if you're not in the same year.
Yeah, but he could still support you, and people know that he supports you. It's the same thing.
Well, the constituents would know that he's supporting you, and they wouldn't vote for you. See, the constituent has to take some of the blame here. You can't just blame the candidate and the mayor.
Yeah.
Because the people got to get elected. Yeah. So if the mayor's paying for your campaign, then the mayor owns you.
Right.
And if people aren't contributing, people don't contribute to the campaign. So how are they supposed to get into office? Buying the signs, buying time, buying radio, doing publicity. You can't be at work and on the campaign trail. So, all the things you're doing to try and represent your community, but your community's not helping you in any way other than making demands. Once you get in, you owe your ear at least to listen to the people that helped you get in. And until the constituents are the ones helping you get in, they don't have your ear. So I think that's the beauty of the political process. Oh my gosh, we're out of time. Go on. You were going to say something.
Yeah, I just want to say that, I want to talk about some new people running for council. Because, listen, the fact that the police union gave Jason Thody a vote of no confidence, and the mayor and the city council didn't move on that.
That's tragic.
That's enough for all of them. And I think that's one of the reasons why, not just my consciousness movement or the community conscience, but also I think he's starting to take a look at some of the mistakes that he's made. And Jason Thody will follow him for his career. Those are career enders, So yes, that's what I wanted to say.
All right. Wow.
That's it, Stan?
That went by.
Oh no, hold up. Let me give a couple
like
blessings real quick.
Hurry up.
So I just want to shout out a couple people. Andrew Woods, my son Antonio, Oscar Padua, the principal at one of our schools in Hartford. Sean Bell, Smooth, thank you for all the work you do. Ebony Williams, Brother Henry Brown, thank you, Henry. And Miss Lorraine Williams over at the Park and Recs, man, she was a phenomenal lady. And our ancestors, James Folsom, rest in peace, brother, Mike Williams, Kent Mitchell, and Duffy Jernigan. And to all the politicians in this country, from 1898 till today, at the local, state, and federal level, part of your legacy is that the island that you call Puerto Rico is still a colony of the United States in 2022. No matter what you think you did, that's part of your legacy. If you didn't fight for our independence, that's part of your legacy. Peace, family. Thank you so much.
All right. On the way out here, Christopher Duke says, not one member of our current council deserves to be mayor. My evidence, they remained silent about the city's scandal against me and my kids and stayed silent when detectives lied, violated rights, and faced no discipline. That's going to come back to haunt a lot of people.
And Chris Dukes,
once he's totally vindicated, because
Chris Dukes is a real black superhero. Thank you, brother.
Amen to that. All right, my friends, our time together has come to an end. Something got in my eye. You gotta love live. Anything live, you gotta love it. All right, our time's come to an end, my friends. We will see you next time. You all have a great rest of your day. All right, we'll check you out next time. Bring a friend with you. All right, share the program. Bye-bye.
My name is J. Stan McCauley, and I do business as Light Source Productions. I provide professional services in the area of strategic video communications. First, what we do is we help you craft your message using what I call the rule of the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, and why. We do event documentation, content acquisition, full-scale productions, editing, and of course distribution through our social media television network. And with social media, video is more important now than it has ever been. Whether you're talking big business, small business, nonprofit, church, or just an individual. Let's say you plan you're planning an event, a wedding, whatever the case may be. But let's say a big event, but no video. and you spent all this time, all these hours to put this event on, and maybe 100, 200 people attend the event. But more important than that is that thousands could attend by watching it on social media. But of course, you don't think about this until after the event is over. You can't afford not to capture it for social media. And despite what people think, I am affordable. Give me a call. Let's plan your next video project and share it with the world on my social media television network. I promise you that you will have the attention of one person, me.